This is Dormouse03, continuing our Mass Effect 3 Insanity walkthrough. And this is part 2 of the mission priority Geth Dreadnought. And so this is where things start to get difficult for this section. So there are a lot of these hunters, and they are coming at you. And so you want to try to not stick around in one spot too often, because they will come around, flank you, and generally just fuck your shit up. So you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. I take a little chance here and try to revive Tali when perhaps I got lucky a little bit that I did not get taken out while I was doing that. But after that, I'm going to come around here. I'm going to try to just move around this area and avoid getting cornered by the hunters and the other troopers that are around here, like was kind of happening at the beginning. So this is the best spot right here. Come down, get in this corridor. You have a lot of cover, and the enemies are all kind of focusing on my teammates. So it gives you a nice vantage to be able to take them out. And they've all sort of gone over there to the other side where you were to begin with. So this is probably just the best strategy is to come around here as fast as you can and try to clean up the rest of everything after you've kind of gotten away from that initial spot where they just rush you, and there are just so many of them. So we have effectively taken out those guys, and I am gonna pick up, there's ammo that's scattered around within this little middle part, so I'm gonna restock my bullets and move on to the next section, which is probably my least favorite spot on this level. This section where you're going through a part of the ship where they have this shockwave pulse that comes through every few seconds. And that thing is super annoying. It will, if it hits you directly, it will strip away all of your shields and also kind of knock you back and stun you. So, leaving you open to get killed, basically. If that happens to you and there are enemies near you, you will just die. That's just the end of that story. So you want to make sure that you are taking cover and staying out of the way of that shockwave. So that section is coming up here, but first you got to climb down like 13 ladders to get to the bottom of the ship, and Tali is filling you in on how the Quarians are doing, which is, you know, not great. Which is kind of why you're here. You're trying to help them out because they are not doing so hot on their own. They have gotten themselves into a bind. And so here we go. Coming through this section. Make sure you pick up all the nothing that's available. And here we go. This is the part with the shockwaves that pulse through every few seconds, and I don't know if it's timed so that it's like every 3 or 4 seconds or something like that. There it goes. Or if it's something like, I don't know, every time you pop out of cover. But there it went through. It hit me, just so bad as I was trying to get into cover here. It is just an awful thing. It is just an awful thing. And another awful thing is all of these hunters and rocket troopers. And I mean, There are a lot of enemies in this section, and they will come around there on the left, because there's a part that I'll go down into in just a second, and they will come up through there and flank you and get around behind you. And it's just not, it's not fun. This section is not fun on Insanity. So here's this part on the left where they can come up through this area and just come and get right behind you. But you can also use this area to your advantage because they can't get you too badly from the top. But then you stand the chance of getting flanked from that side. So what I'm going to do here is trigger that next wave of enemies that comes out, and then I'm going to come all the way back here, back to the part where they can't really get around you. Everything's sort of far away. And I don't have a scope on my assault rifle, which would probably make things easier, but I do an okay job of taking everything out. So I'm using a lot of overload because that just works wonders on these guys as far as taking out shields and stunning them and everything. And just trying to hang back right here and not let anything get close, because if stuff gets close, like you've seen a couple of times already, it just stomps all over you. You don't want to be fighting close quarters with these guys, because, I mean, a rocket in your face, it just hurts. It hurts a lot, and nobody wants that. And you also have more time to get out of the way of that shockwave the farther back you are, because, you know, you can see it coming from a long way off, and you don't really get surprised by it. But I tried several different ways of going through this area. I tried going over to the left. I tried going over to the right, and I just found that the more I tried to push up, the worse it was. And hanging back and kind of playing it safe was the best way to get through this, at least for me. So that is what I do. Nice dodge of that rocket right then. You really want to get out of the way of those. They hurt. They hurt. And just clean up all the rest of these guys, and this should be... There are a lot of them, so I'm tentative here. Kind of picking up some ammo, because I was running kind of low, and I think there is still something alive, maybe.
We need to shut it down.
Nope, they put in the dialogue there, and so that tells me that pretty much everything is probably gone. And now we're just going to move over there to the left and deactivate the console. But you are not finished with this section yet. Even though you probably want to be. I wanted to be done with all the shockwave nonsense, but nope, there is some more. There is some more. After you run through this nice corridor here, do some little leaps and get some nice action. As you're sort of stumbling toward the core and into the next section of shockwave bullshit. So you dive through there. That's all cutscene. And now here's the next section. And so I get kind of turned around here. I'm like, nope, that was not the right way. So it's to the right out of that door, not to the left. And again, you're dodging that shockwave, and there are like 4 or 5 of these rocket troopers that are up, both upstairs and downstairs, and they are just bitches. I mean, they stay in cover. You can't get a good angle on them when you sort of, if you want to wait on one to pop his head out, another one is shooting a rocket at you that you have to dodge. So this section can be a little bullshitty, but you just kind of have to take it as it take it as it is. Try to focus on one and strip their shields without getting hit in the face by the other three. They're all firing at you. So, and then probably when you're taking out the first couple of ones, you're gonna get hit by a rocket or two, just because I don't know. There's just no good way to take them out from down here because you just don't have the height advantage. And I was hesitant to move up and to try to climb upstairs because I figured as I was going up the ladder I would probably just get killed. So I didn't risk that. I tried to take them out as best as I could from down here. And once you take out a few, it becomes much easier because there are fewer of them firing at you. And here's the last guy. And I really want to ruin his day, so I come out here and stomp him with my paladin. So that was the last guy right there. And here comes a hunter. James's Carnage is awesome, by the way. That's, if you haven't used him or haven't used Carnage very often, that's what you see when you see the sort of red explosions happening. That is his Carnage ability, and it is really, really useful. Once you take the shields off of something, you push that, and if it's just a normal enemy type, it will most likely die. So now you have more of an advantage in this spot because you're upstairs, and of course when you get into a good spot, then nothing comes out for you, so you have to sort of move down, I believe, to trigger those next few enemies to attack you. And again, you're just sort of sticking back, trying to take out things as best you can, making good use of those tech abilities. And if you don't have the ability to use your overload or energy drain, Tali does have energy drain, and so you want to be mapping that to the D-pad and using that as much as you possibly can to strip away those shields and stun those guys. And this piece of cover right here is not the best because it's sort of angled a little bit, and so my shepherd, she sticks to it weird. And so I ended up getting hit by a few rockets and the shockwave a couple of times when I didn't think that I would, just because of the way she moved in and out of the cover. And so, I don't know, I just stayed there because it seemed like it was the best way to hang back. And I didn't want to get over on the right, but because I prefer the left side. But now I believe everything is dead in this section. And you will have done probably the most challenging part, I think, of this level. There's another fight that will be in the next video that with a couple of primes. They can be tricky, but this part here with the shockwaves, I think was the most annoying for me because I hate not being able to move. I hate not being able to feel like I can move through the area as much as I want to because I'm going to get slapped by one of those shockwaves like I just did right there. So I was trying to go through and see if there was anything to pick up, and I couldn't find anything. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.